Okay, this is the situation at the end of turn 5 for the breakthrough to Frankfort, World at War 85. Oddly enough, there isn't a huge amount of stuff happening. There's quite a lot of reinforcements that should have arrived, but some of them just haven't been able to get onto the board. The reason for that is this system where you draw 2 end of operation cards and that ends the turn. So we've had 2 fairly quiet turns where at least half the deck hasn't been drawn because of the way the end of operation cards have come out. Now, I don't know, I'm tempted to think that a really big scenario like this, where there's a lot of ground to cover, that you should be using 3 end of operation cards, which you can in certain scenarios in this particular scenario. But that's just me. At the moment, the Russians are making very little progress. Their most advanced formation's got an electronic warfare jam on it, which is causing it problems. Still got units of the German territorials inside this urban area here, where they're really just trying to bypass them and head towards the objective axis. There's no point just wasting time trying to whittle away at those German territorial forces, especially when you've got follow-up echelons that can clear them. But the important thing is to get near to these objectives. We've got some American reinforcements coming over out of the east, and we've got other German coming from the north and from the west. So the Allies are basically closing up this gap in their line. Other thing we've had this term, we've had our first off-board artillery strike, which managed to smash up one of the Soviet tank platoons. So we're both sides have lost a tank platoon at the moment, even though Germans have got more units which have been reduced through the fighting up north. So all in all, I'd say it's looking probably better for the Allies here, or NATO. The Russians really need to get their skates on. The big problem is they've got this mud thing, which is knocking off -1 to their movement. Now, yeah, that's another thing I'm a bit unsure of. I would say muddy conditions are going to affect mechanised units as severely as they would have done in World War II when they were away from the road net. Because modern vehicles they're big, they're very heavy, and I would imagine mud would be a major problem to them. But the game doesn't really cater for that. I'm not so bothered about it in Germany, but if you got into areas where you were fighting over large areas of terrain where there's a very poor road net, I would say the mud effect should be worse. That's really it for the moment. So when the game does move, it moves fast, but it's just annoying that a lot of units aren't getting any chance to do anything.